time once again for our little show. It is time to roll
with the troll.
Right, all over again. We're doing this again. Listen, we've had a blast on this channel so far. But today, for the first time ever, we're going to pit somebody from the Cobra Kai / Karate Kid IP up with someone who I think you know who from some of the Star Wars films.
Yes.
He was in a particularly good Star Wars film.
Yeah.
He was in also a very good Star Wars film.
Right.
And then he was in a dog shit Star Wars film that nobody fucking liked at all, and he looked weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Mr. Miyagi versus Yoda.
I love this matchup.
This is perfect. These guys have so much in common.
They do.
Do you realize these are both relatively short, Zen-like, peaceful guys, but who have very little patience for their fucking students. You know what I mean? Yes. I mean, both of them, like from you too much television to that is why you fail. Yeah. There were so many great lines, so many times that these two just got so frustrated with their students.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I'd have been frustrated with both of those kids. Yeah. You don't come to me and say, yeah, teach me everything. And the minute I try to teach, right, they complain the whole fucking time, you arrogant little pricks. So Mr. Miyagi versus Yoda, I want to get to the bottom of who is the better teacher. Yeah. I think this is a very fair matchup. They both are very, very wise, also very ancient. I think they're around the same age. And, they're not. And I think they probably had relatively similar screen time, all things considered, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Miyagi was in 4 films, a lot. Yoda was not quite 4 films, but he's also had some TV stuff too. So, well, yeah, actually, Yoda was in more if you count the prequels. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So he was in those. So, I mean, they've had roughly similar screen time.
They are both masters.
Yes, yes. Both very manly. We work out a lot with weights and stuff like that. They're very, they're at the gun range a lot.
No, they don't.
They don't do that. No, not really.
Both mind over matter kind of dudes.
You know what I like about both of them is when they see an opponent who's got a lot of swagger and they're swinging their dick around. Yeah. Neither one of these guys ever even gets intimidated. It's what they're dealing with is not like a Rocky Balboa kind of like, oh shit, am I tough enough for this guy? They don't do that at all. Miyagi and Yoda, Miyoda. But what both these guys do is they don't like need to size up their opponent and worry about if they're strong enough. They have to consider internally whether they want to bother beating this asshole.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That Mr. Miyagi never flinched. He was never like, oh shit, can I win? He's always like, do I have to stoop to this level?
They both look a little bit perturbed and bored at the prospect.
Yeah.
It's like, you're wasting my time.
Like, I really need to do this to you, Sato. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these guys are a blast. So, all right, we've been pontificating already, but we need to get to the bottom of this whole question. Who's the better teacher? Not who's funnier, not who gets more chicks. Who is the better teacher, Mr. Miyagi or Yoda?
Who did get more chicks?
Voice of not Yoda, because look at Yoda's apartment. If you try to bring a woman home to that apartment, are you fucking kidding me? First of all, I tell you, he had the setup to get laid because if a woman got there, she couldn't leave. Remember Luke's fucking ship? Well, he got stuck in the fucking the mud and all the bullshit. R2 was a big mess. Yeah. So if a girl shows up after the bar, she's like, "Oh, I'm never getting home, am I?" It was
my god, you're creeping me the hell out with this.
It was kind of like with Dennis on Always Sunny. Remember that?
Yeah.
When he was out on the boat with those girls and he's talking to Mac about how the girls are going to be intimidated and they're going to have to it was crazy. Yoda's thinking the same thing. That's why he moved out there. Had nothing to do with the takeover from the Emperor.
I think it did have something to do with the takeover from the Empire, but
Mr. Miyagi's place was similar. Mr. Miyagi had that big nice house, but when we first met him, he was living in he had the house with all the cars. Yeah. But he was staying at the apartment place all the time.
He seemed to, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like he was there, and then once he met Daniel, he just never showed up to work again.
Yeah, that was always confusing, but I think that was more of a workshop than his home.
No, but he was there late hours into the night, early morning.
He was dedicated.
And then as soon as he met Daniel, all he did was go fishing and teach karate. It was like he forgot that he had a job. Up until they let him go. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, Mr. Miyagi versus Yoda. Who is the better teacher? Voice of reason here is my co-host. Go ahead and explain. Who's the better teacher?
I say Yoda. I think Yoda. Because as you pointed out, neither one of them had like a ton of patience, even though they preach patience to their students. Yoda edges out on that one thing to me. Don't you think?
The ears? Is it because of the ears you're giving him extra points?
It is not the ears.
You think the ears are fun?
No.
So you want to give him more?
It's not the ears, it's not the eyebrows, it's not the green skin. It might be the way that he speaks though. You know, they both have unique ways of speaking, but Yoda...
Well, they both have broken English. Yeah. That's what's hilarious. Neither one of them can speak effectively.
Oh, yes, they can.
Ah.
But Yoda, the way that his sentences are always backwards, it makes you think a little bit harder. I love it. I say Yoda. I think Yoda was the better, blah, 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 the better teacher.
The better teacher. I got to be honest with you. As much as these guys are both so revered in their teaching, I actually think they're both very flawed teachers.
Sure.
I almost put them on par with a Johnny Lawrence,
almost
or
human.
a Daniel LaRusso. I mean, really, all four of those instructors are not great.
Yeah.
I think, you know, who really has to win this one for me is Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think he's better than all of them.
He's not in here.
Well,
we're doing Miyagi and Yoda.
Okay, all right. Between these two only. Ultimately, I would say that Yoda is a slightly better teacher, only because Miyagi's more comfortable with just winging it and just fuck it, who cares? I don't know. Miyagi did a terrible job in Karate Kid 3 when those guys were whipping Daniel's ass and beating up his girlfriend and leaving him at the bottom of a ravine, and the tide was coming in and stealing all the stuff from his shop and then trashing the shop.
I don't think he knew about most of that, but
well, but even when Daniel tried to tell him, I mean, Mr. Miyagi is like singing songs and going fishing and give a fuck. One of the guys in the comments was saying this. He said when Daniel was desperately asking his teacher for help, his teacher just kept saying, "Let's go fishing." How many fish can Mr. Miyagi eat?
Well,
honestly,
a lot.
So I do think that Mr. Miyagi is a little more. Remember when he told Daniel in the first film, he goes, "Make good fight." He just kind of like throws a few kind of generic pieces of advice at you and says, "Go for it. We'll see what happens." He's not committed to the win. Yoda is more committed to the win. However, Yoda's more likely to lose. Yoda lost the biggest battle in the fucking galaxy and just said, "All right, fuck it. I'll move to Dagobah. I mean, I don't know what else to do here. We lost, so I'm going to lose gracefully." And there you go. And then he went, it seemed like he was working on almost like a stand-up comedy career at Dagobah, because Yoda, when Luke shows up, Yoda went from being very serious in the prequels and very, very like committed and focused to now he's cracking jokes. He's wearing the snake around him. He's just fucking around. He was like a little Dennis the Menace kind of character.
Yeah, exactly. I remember being so shocked at the transformation when he suddenly turned serious and you realized that he was the Jedi Master. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Miyagi should have pulled the same shit that Yoda did on Daniel. He should have been like, "You have to go to my house and you're going to find this incredible martial arts instructor." And then Daniel shows up and then there he is. And Miyagi's just playing jokes and like Daniel's all pissed off. And he's like, "I'm trying to find a great teacher."
He did have some jokey qualities about him, though. I mean, the J.C. Penney, $2.99.
Yeah, but it was, to me, it spoke of like a little less focus. I don't think Miyagi was ever all that concerned about making sure he wins. In fact, he says it to Daniel. Remember, he says, "Win or lose doesn't matter. You know, you need to." His belief in the first film, Mr. Miyagi felt that as long as Daniel fought back, you know, and didn't get his ass kicked, as long as he fought back in the tournament, it didn't matter if he won or lost, that these guys were going to learn a lesson, right?
Okay.
And he was real. Remember that? He was really wrong about that. And then Daniel had to straighten him out when he's like, "I'm never going to have balance with them. Not with Allie, not with them, not with me." So and so that's how he says it. So fucking, I don't feel like Miyagi was ever like fully invested. Like, we've got to fucking win this no matter what. Yoda is. Ironically, Yoda had the big loss. And Mr. Miyagi wins at the end of every film.
Yeah, I mean, the stakes were higher for Yoda. Yoda knew what
I don't think the stakes were higher for Yoda.
Sure they were, the whole universe.
The galaxy, but Daniel was a high school kid getting bullied over a chick. That is the whole universe when you're 16. I'm telling you.
It doesn't really compare.
Why was Daniel 16 when he was graduating high school? Isn't that a little odd?
He didn't seem that gifted, but
No, he didn't seem. Anyway. I think ultimately, so you're choosing Yoda. Yoda's the better teacher.
I would have to inch him out by just a little bit. This is tough. Because they're very evenly matched in so many ways. But I'm gonna have to say Yoda.
Is this maybe a racial thing for you? Is it like you're afraid to let
partial to green.
An Asian man get ahead of a green?
To you. You're green.
You know? I'm green as well. That's true. Yoda, in fact, is probably a distant relative of mine, because if you look at him, he does look like an older troll. So maybe that's what's going on here. That's why he was such a cock when Luke first showed up.
Oh my God.
Luke got there just looking for help. And all Yoda could think about was like, "Let's go get some fast food." You know, he's just fucking around left and right. And then he's like remember Yoda got in a little fight with R2?
Yeah.
He's whacking him.
A little tug of war.
Yeah, a tug of war. And he's like, "No, mine."
Yeah.
I tell you, Yoda really changed from episode 3 till we saw him again in episode 5.
Uh-huh.
Very different young green man. Old Green Man, Little Green Man. You know, he really changed a lot.
Little and old.
Yeah. Mr. Miyagi never changed. He was always the same guy.
Yeah.
He wanted to help the underdog. He wanted to, you know, kind of just kick around a little bit the bad guys, and then win a plastic trophy or two every now and then.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he beat up Colonel Dugan too. That was a good time.
That was fun.
With all that fire and shit everywhere. It looked like a fucking BLM rally.
Oh,
remember that? I thought Antifa was going to come out of the water. That was so fucked up.
Miyagi was very paternal, though, with his students. With Daniel, with Julie Pierce, he was very paternal. But Yoda didn't have that hang up at all. You know, Yoda was very no attachments. Do not have attachments. So there's a little bit of a line there.
That might be the one area where they really differ. Yeah. These two guys. In every other way, they're very similar. Mm-hmm. That's the one difference. Yoda does not give a fuck about Luke Skywalker. Mm-hmm. He really doesn't. He's like, whatever, you can leave, have a good time. But yeah, Miyagi really did make both of them, Daniel and Julie, like very much like his children. Yeah, family for sure. Yeah, that's a very good point. That is the only stark difference between these two guys. Mm-hmm. That's fucked up. I didn't think of that. So then here's a question. Yeah. Does that actually make Mr. Miyagi a better teacher? Does that help him win more points over Yoda? Or does it put him even more behind Yoda, since we're thinking Yoda's a slightly better, more effective coach?
Well, I think there's something to be said for having some detachment. Wow, that's a tough question. I don't know.
Guys, these are the kinds of difficult topics that we tackle on this channel. If you're new to the channel,
we need input.
Please be sure you want to like and subscribe and click the bell icon so you get more riveting content like this. I mean, who else is going to pit Miyagi versus Yoga? I keep calling him Yoga. I know. I need to stretch and figure this out. No, but so be sure to like and subscribe. We've got all these people listening, but they're not subscribing. So hopefully you will make the leap. Anyway, so are we settling on Yoda still, or are there points we need to consider to make this a more fair fight?
For now, I'm going to settle on yoga. Oh my gosh, look what you made me do. Okay. I'm going to settle on
you do
Yoda.
Some yoga, but then think about who you want to have win this.
Let's see what pops up in the comments, and maybe someone changes my mind.
The comments are going to be gold. I'll tell you right now, they're going to be fucking gold. People are going to point shit out we never would have thought of. Mm-hmm. That's what happens all the time. Yeah. In closing, I can't think of anything except maybe this. Would you think Yoda would have stooped to stealing the way Mr. Miyagi did? Do you think Yoda would have gone that far? Because Mr. Miyagi stole that black belt right there out from that board. Wouldn't it be great if all these years later, you know, Daniel's on the committee and all that? Yeah. Wouldn't it be awesome if Daniel showed up and he's like, I got to give this back. This was stolen 40 years ago. It never belonged to me. I'm giving this back. Oh, and then what's that guy's name who runs the thing? I think it was Tom. Right, the main guy at the tournament at the committee. Yeah. If he's like, you know, Daniel, we just cannot have you here knowing that 40 years ago you and your instructor stole this fucking belt. Yoda would have never done this.
No, I agree. Yoda would not have done that. A Jedi would not steal.
Yoda will fight a droid, though. Do you think Mr. Miyagi would do that? I don't think so.
Yeah, we're getting deep now.
Mr. Miyagi would say, best leave droid alone. Leave droid alone to train. In fact, if Mr. Miyagi saw Yoda treating R2-D2 that way, he would have intervened and he would have seen Yoda as like a John Kreese kind of character. You know what I mean? He'd be like, leave droid alone to train. Yeah. And then Yoda would be like, you want to get your droid in the... I can't do a good Yoda, but he's like, you want to get your droid in the matter? You and I will schedule something. And then Mr. Miyagi says, tournament. And now Yoda has to leave Dagobah for the first time in 20 years, and he's got to show up at a fucking martial arts tournament with a droid. That's what's going to happen if Mr. Miyagi intervened in all this.
It's all written out.
This is very, very creative shit here. All right, final thoughts. I guess Yoda wins for now, right? Uh-huh. Yep. And then we'll see what the comments say, and then we'll do a round two, because I have a feeling... The comments always kind of like they end up influencing my thinking quite a bit. You know, they come in. Our fucking audience is brilliant. They come in with all these creative ideas, and then you and I get together again, and now I'm slanting my opinion.
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
It happens a lot with Halloween End stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, all right, like, subscribe, all that other shit. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.